Welcome to our podcast where we tell stories that'll keep you up at night. And in the morning, have you asking,
What's sleep?
I'm your co-host, Timothy.
And I'm the other host, Bailey.
And let's talk about some spooky stories.
In the 17th century, it is very well known that people, mainly women, were accused of magic use.
Okay, like Salem. Gotcha.
Like Salem. 1694 was a year after the Salem witch trials ended, though it doesn't really seem that many people got over it, and they did continue to accuse men and women of being warlocks or witches. So
I think it'd be fun to be a warlock, just saying.
like, if there was any modicum of possibility that there was magic in the world, why would you be upset about it?
Heresy. I don't know.
I'd be all over that.
I mean,
That's awesome.
I'm just saying. I play a warlock in World of Warcraft, so I'm all about that.
So Moll Dyer was a woman who lived in Leonardtown, Maryland, in around 1694.
Way back.
Yeah, way back in the day. Her life was the subject of speculation. Today, nobody really knows her history. Some people don't even believe that she ever existed.
I was just about to say, does she even exist?
Well, there are actually records from ships that came over with colonists and stuff of I think 3 different Molly Dyers. There was I believe a Maliga Dyer,
Okay.
a Molly Dyer, and Mary Dyer, I believe.
Did they happen to be related or no?
No, not that I could find. They were just in the records of the incoming colonists.
Gotcha.
But it was common back in the day to call anybody like Mary or Margaret or anybody with an M name,
Basic
like a woman.
Names.
Wow.
Sorry if your name's
They were
Mary.
back in the day.
I mean, apparently they were.
Just common, but anyway, it was.
I want to name my child Northwest.
Please don't have children. Anyway, so was common back in the day.
Gotcha.
To nickname people Moll, who had M names. So Moll was kind of a common nickname. One popular story says that she was actually an Irish noblewoman who came to Maryland to escape the mysterious past. A lot of people think that it's harrowing love story that she was escaping from, or maybe she was the mother of 2 boys that died in a war and came to Maryland. It's weird stuff. So nobody really knows who this woman was.
People just making stuff up.
Exactly. They're trying to make sense of something they don't know about.
Gotcha.
Basically.
Maybe she is the reason why that civil war is going on over there.
Ireland?
Yeah.
The Civil War?
Yeah. They got a civil war going on over there.
Right now?
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
What?
I think it's still going on.
What?
I could be totally wrong.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they have a civil war going on.
You're about 100 years late.
Close enough.
Anyway.
1923 is essentially 2020.
Also 150 years after Moll, but it's cool.
Doesn't mean she wasn't the catalyst. I'm just saying.
So Moll actually had a cottage outside of what was then Seymourtown and is now Leonardtown.
Okay.
So they've changed names since then.
I wonder why.
She is described by some legends to be an old hag, while others say that she was polite and a beautiful old woman. So
I mean, those are 2 completely different spectrums there.
Yeah, it depends on how you're looking at the story, I guess. If you're in favor of her being the good guy in this story, then you'll probably see her as a beautiful old woman.
Yeah.
But you're afraid of magic and our wild person.
Demon hag.
It was also noted that she was very tall. So she actually towered over a lot of the townspeople. And I think that was a huge catalyst into what happened to her because,
Makes sense.
Big egos around the town. Can't be the shortest one looking
How tall
up to
was
a
she?
woman. I have no idea. She was like I said, there's not a lot really known specifically about her.
Well,
that's why a lot of people
if it was said that she towered over people, I mean, that must mean she's what, probably 6 foot something?
She was probably only 6 foot, maybe in 5'8", because I think they were really short back in the day.
I don't know. All I know is I'm probably taller than her.
Like I think it used to be like a common height to be like 5'4", 5'5".
Really?
Yeah, I think that's how I could be entirely mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that people were just like really short back in the
That sucks.
day. She actually lived alone and mostly kept to herself. She lived like kind of on the outskirts of the village and lived in like a small cottage by herself. So she like didn't
Oh,
really bother anybody, you know,
this
which I feel like is
this is
how
pretty much
most
Spirited Away.
Spirited Away. Oh,
Yeah,
like
with the
the
twin sister
sister
that's
in
out
the
in the middle of
yeah, dude, her
nowhere.
house is cool. I love that movie.
She did magic. I'm just saying.
Moll. She actually gained a reputation amongst the locals as an herbal healer. So she'd like dry teas, like leaves and stuff to make teas to make people feel better. Like if they had a cold, obviously you're supposed to drink something warm to clear up your sinuses and stuff. I don't know.
What's wrong with that?
Well, it led to speculation of witchcraft.
No, it's just
A
called
woman who
science, my
knows
dude.
a woman who knows anything about anything, a witch.
How dare you know how to read?
The town began to blame everything that went wrong on her, despite the fact that she was providing remedies to them.
Of course.
She was often seen roaming around the land, like just like roaming around the farmland and
Just
grazing
vibing.
around. She was just kind of collecting herbs and plants and things.
She's just vibing,
to
trying to
you know
collect stuff.
to cook or make these remedies for the townspeople. There were times that she was seen begging for food because the only time she would ever really make money is if she offered a remedy to somebody who was sick, and most people were like super afraid of her, you know, because she's a lonely old woman living by herself outside of town. So anytime that she would offer remedies to her, they just like kind of pay her to make her go away, you know.
Wow.
Even though the remedies worked for them to get better.
I mean,
so
not gonna lie, that sounds like a pretty sweet gig.
but
People
she
pay
didn't.
you to leave.
I
I
guess, but like she didn't make a lot of money, so she did end up begging for food at times, you know. So
I mean, still, I wish people would pay me to like leave, like just go away.
to exist at my house, yeah.
Cool.
In 1697, the town experienced a particularly harsh winter. Temperatures reached below zero, and the wind chill was even colder. So it was super cold. Livestock began to freeze in the fields. Like literally, sheep would just kind of freeze in place. You know, over time they just
Oh,
walk and then all of a sudden be frozen. You know,
that sucks.
it was just cold.
Wow.
Like they would just kind of freeze where they were.
Oh, okay. So like they were still alive. They just like I'm too cold to move, or
No,
like
no,
did
no.
they
They would
literally
literally freeze.
freeze?
Like they're in the fields. They're walking. It's getting colder and colder, and eventually it gets so cold that your body just eventually freezes, and they're just kind of there. A lot of them died.
That's horrifying.
It's
oh my
cold.
God.
It was the worst winter they've ever had to date. Like the longest winter.
Well, you know, global warming now.
Gotta worry about that. But a lot of scientists go back and they assume that this is like a shift in the tilt, like Earth's tilt, which happens every like few thousands of years. And they just think that this might have been an occurrence of that.
Possibly.
Which caused the sun to not be down.
I remember that big behind earthquake. Like I don't remember how long ago, but it was like really long ago where there was like a huge earthquake. I think it was like 8.9 or something like that.
Where in California?
No, I think it was in like Japan. But like apparently the earthquake was so strong it actually tilted the Earth's off the axis by a couple degrees. And I was like, geez.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was something like that. I could be entirely wrong, but
I have no idea.
I remember hearing something like that, and I was like, dang.
I mean, it affects a lot too.
Yeah,
I wonder
true.
if that is attributed to some heat, along with humankind. But
yeah,
you know. So yeah,
it was pretty nice out today and yesterday. Yesterday was really cool.
I miss the cold.
Yesterday was only like 70. I
we
loved
got
it.
like 2 days of cold this past month, and it was great. However, it lasted.
It's like, oh, it's gonna be really
like
cold
0.2
one day, and then
seconds.
it's gonna go right back up to the old usual 90 degrees.
We love it.
I hate it. Like I just want it to be fall. It's supposed to be fall. Be fall temperature, please.
It was only fall like as of what 2 weeks ago.
September 22nd.
Was it?
Pretty sure.
Remember. I don't know. Time is a blur.
Time is an illusion.
So yeah, the livestock did begin to freeze. The chickens and the sheep would just kind of be frozen in place. The cows and things.
Sounds fun.
Food was hard to come by. The crops, you know, were dying, so they couldn't really make any of the food that they were growing. And a lot of people died of illnesses and starvation due to this. So the deaths that occurred that year during that winter were more than double what, like all the deaths total for the previous year and the following year.
And that was
So
just in the winter?
it was a lot of people that died. Not just in the winter, but the winter is where a lot of the deaths from that year came from because it was such a cold winter.
Dang.
So during all of that happening, like all the livestock freezing, you know, the lands freezing over, people dying of illness, the townspeople noted that Moll was doing exceptionally well. She was fine. They speculated this because she had no farm, so she didn't really have access to food. No one else lived with her to help her maintain her cottage, and she didn't really have anybody near her, obviously, so she didn't really come down with any illnesses or anything. She didn't get sick from the cold or anything, so
Unless even if she started to get some, she could just use one of her little herbal teas.
exactly. So she's by herself in her cottage doing just fine, and everyone's like, that's suspicious. Like, okay, but she could be keeping a fire to herself. She's only going to keep herself warm, you know.
Right.
I don't know what she's eating, but, you know, she's obviously got some food. And, like,
Could you,
she's got herbal
could you,
teas, so if she
live
got
off tea?
sick, I don't think so. I don't think it's got enough calories and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, she does have tea. So if she got sick, you know, she could help prevent illness. It's not going to stop it, but, you know. Yeah, obviously, this meant that she was a witch.
Of course.
And they blamed all of the deaths, all of the freezing winter, everything that had happened in the town this winter on Moll Dyer.
How dare you?
And
how dare you do better than me?
They actually feared that she had cursed the town with this winter. They thought that she's the one that brought it on. So
we're mean to you, so you fought back against us. How dare you, witch? She's just out there vibing by herself, doing just fine. And you want to get mad that, oh, she's doing better, we have all this death. That's y'all's fault.
Yeah, just do better. I don't know. It's really rude.
Clearly she was ready.
Well, after assuming that they cursed her town, they decided to do something about it.
Oh, good. All right.
Without a trial or any evidence, a small group of townspeople got together and went to her cottage in the middle of a really cold winter night.
See, this is why y'all are not doing well. Y'all out in the middle of the cold, worrying about some person out in the woods.
Someone else, mind your business. Using torches, they put her cottage up in flames.
Wow.
Moll was actually able to escape and made her way into the woods nearby her now burning home. Her home was entirely decimated.
That's so messed up. Wow. Now I kind of hope she did curse them.
Well.
Ooh.
So the legend says that at this point, freezing and exhausted, Moll found herself near a large rock. She placed one hand on it, raising the other hand to call down a curse upon the land and her persecutors.
Yes. Do it!
Days later, a young boy searching for his lost cattle found her frozen body clinging to the rock with one hand still pointing upward towards the sky. And I did a little bit of research, and there's scientists that say it can take up to like 15 minutes for your body to just freeze in place wherever it's at. Like during,
she was really determined.
Well, it was really cold.
I mean, yeah, but you know, to hold your hand up for like 15 minutes.
Well, she might have started to freeze and just you know. It is said that after removing her body, her hand and her knee left permanent impressions in the rock as a mark of her curse.
Ooh.
Here's the rock.
Oh, you got an actual picture of the rock?
Yeah. Okay, so a lot of depictions are her just like an old woman with like an old woman with like long white hair.
I love how they made her look like a witch.
Oh yeah, right.
Like with a big elongated nose, the like furly eyebrows.
I'll get a better picture to post, but just like an old woman with like really long white hair. Some depictions are of a beautiful woman, and others are of, you know, like a hag. Like a witch.
Like you see in the Wizard of Oz movie.
Right. So here's the rock.
She's the Wicked Witch of the East, bro.
And like there's imprints in the rock, but
I mean,
like,
honestly, it just looks like a rock.
Said her hand was, and then like her knee was here or something. It's a rock, and it's very hard to see where any impressions might have been, because over time,
like honestly, if there wasn't a sign next to it, I would be like, oh look, it's a rock.
A rock. Like, used to ride these babies for miles.
Oh my god. It's not just a boulder, it's a rock.
Amazing. It is said that the curse that she laid upon the land was to make the land infertile, never again to grow good crops. An unusual amount of lightning strikes have also been recorded in the area near her home, just all over the world. So there are records of that too, by the way.
I'm about it.
Just to add some evidence to you speculators. Today, the rock can actually be seen in front of the 1876 Leonardtown jailhouse, which today serves as the St. Mary's County Historical Society building. In
Y'all need to
Leonardtown.
work on your names of buildings. Jesus.
I mean, that's what it is. St. Mary's County Historical Society
that's what
building.
it is, but like, why is it gotta be so much?
Locals today claim that the rock is haunted by Moll. Some claim that at one point you could see the imprint of her hand and knee in the rock, though over time these supposed imprints were worn away by erosion and people constantly going up to the rock and like putting their own hand where her hand was.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Gotta ruin it.
It's said that visitors often get a very sick feeling in their stomach, and none of the photographs ever taken of the rock will develop, or that the camera used will malfunction or be drained of battery life, which, sure, but there's pictures online of the rock.
There's
you know what I mean?
There's literally plenty of pictures.
I don't know if that statement is from
I know,
when they did
when they would develop film.
Yeah.
I know people say that, ghosts and whatnot, part of their evidence of activities, they'll just drain your battery fully.
Well, electromagnetic energy is what they say the ghosts use, and that can drain a battery.
Like watching Ghost Adventures, all of a sudden they'll have a fresh battery and then it dies within 5 minutes. And it's like, okay.
It's the ghost, Timmy.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just,
You're just
saying. I was just saying that's like a thing that ghosts apparently do.
We aren't skeptics here.
I didn't say I was being skeptical. I was just agreeing. I was just like, hey, ghosts are known to do that. According to Ghost Adventures.
According to Ghost Adventures.
We should get him as a guest. Could you imagine?
That'd be amazing.
Hey, you want to come on?
Morbid
Talk about
would
spooky
be
stuff.
I want Morbid to be a guest on our show. Or I would be a guest on their show, I guess. They're way cooler than we are.
Oh yeah, they're definitely way cooler than we are. But Morbid, if you're listening, big fan.
Let's do a collab. Let's do it.
Or not, just let us know you listen. That'd be cool too. Preferably collab though. #sellout. Sponsor us, Morbid.
So another place that is very popular to visit is where Moll Dyer's cottage is said to have been before it was burned down.
Mm-hmm.
Off of what is now known as Moll Dyer Road, residents of Leonardtown today will visit the spot and attempt to take pictures. Some claim to have seen fuzzy figures in their photos. So they'll take a picture of the woods by the road, and there'll be like a fog or an extra thick tree somewhere. It's like maybe there's a person standing next to it. There is still a ton of superstition that surrounds the rock today. Lynn Budnaveri? I don't know. I
don't even know what kind of last name that would be. Is that like German or something?
I have no idea.
That doesn't look German.
I don't know. She's from
Maryland.
Lynn Budnaveri visited the Historical Society often, as she was very interested in the legend. On a walk with her husband one day, the couple passed by Moll's Rock. She says that after hundreds of times passing by it, it was until that day that she had never had an interest in touching the rock. She took a moment to place her hands where the indentations were and didn't feel anything unusual, only the cold stone.
Yeah, it's just a rock.
She stood up and began to walk away with her husband, and after just a few seconds, I think she sat up to 30 seconds, Lynn began to get incredibly sick.
Isn't it? Sorry, we're trying not to cuss anymore.
She knew immediately that she had made a mistake. Her chest became incredibly light and her lungs began to burn. She claims that she felt like someone had their arms around her and were squeezing her, and she actually began to cough up blood after this.
Oh.
After about 45 minutes of refusing to go to the hospital and driving home instead with her husband, the attack stopped.
All right, listen. The second blood starts coming out your mouth, go to the hospital.
It's not normal.
No.
It's not normal.
It's not. And I've seen a lot of movies where people,
wrong.
People will be chilling and they'll cough into a little handkerchief. And then all of a sudden they look away. Oh no, there's blood in it now.
And then they die.
And then literally next scene they're dead.
It happens.
I'm just saying.
It happens. Not every
Movies
time.
teach you things sometimes.
So she actually believes wholeheartedly that this was actually the curse of Moll Dyer that affected her. That's why she didn't go to the hospital.
Well, okay.
She knew it was Moll Dyer.
I mean, it did go away, I guess, but I'd be a little panicked if I started coughing blood.
That was 30 years ago, though. Nothing ever happened after that.
I'm just saying.
It was Moll. She got haunted.
Maybe she just like bit her cheek or something. No? Okay. I'm trying to appeal to the skeptics out there. Y'all will find a reason.
One woman named Karen Stauffer tells the story in which she convinces 3 of her friends to visit the hotspot in the 70s. This is the one off the road.
Okay.
All of her friends warned of how haunted it is, and also of the curse. Moving forward with her friends very reluctantly behind her, like the whole time they were like, no, we're leaving.
Nah.
And she's like, nah, I'm gonna walk into the woods. And so she walked into the woods.
They weren't about it. But she's like, I'm here for this adventure.
Exactly. She went into the woods and they were like, okay, well, we can't just leave her by herself.
I feel like that's me with you.
They walked into the woods and like the whole time they're like, we need to leave. Like, stop.
Yeah, that's you. I'm the one that's like, I'm here for an adventure.
Yeah, I'd throw up.
So I'm saying we're gonna do the jail thing. I promise you.
I don't know, man.
It'll be fun.
We haven't reached however many Patreons I said.
I don't even care. I'm gonna do it.
We'll do it by yourself.
Nah, you gotta be there. I'm forcing you to be there.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
No. I've got pepper spray.
Okay, well, okay. What's that gonna do?
It's gonna burn you and you're gonna
they said
leave me alone.
I thought you were gonna say you're gonna pepper spray.
Pepper spray the ghosts?
So that's not gonna do
that doesn't work. Pretty sure that
How do you
don't
know?
work.
No one's ever tried it.
Haven't they? I don't know, man.
It could be like Ghostbusters.
Ghost repellent.
Yeah. Pepper spray.
Just a little bit.
This is going downhill. Let's continue.
So walking into the woods, Karen said that she began to feel that something was off. She felt that there was some sort of presence there watching them. The whole while in the woods, her friends begged her to leave the whole time. Karen says that it felt like something was drawing her in. That's
the adventure.
When you leave. The adventure.
Yeah.
At one point during their small hike, everything became quiet. Dead quiet. There were no birds. There were no bugs. There was no wind. Nothing.
That happens.
Quiet.
I go sit outside on my porch. That'll happen.
Not like dead silence, though.
Yeah.
Just...
Yeah, dead silent. No birds, no wind, no bugs, nothing.
I don't know, man.
I'm just swinging.
All of a sudden, a strong wind began to pick up, followed by a loud crack of thunder and lightning. So, dead silence to all of a sudden 20-mile-per-hour wind, thunder, lightning. It's like a windstorm in the middle of this forest all of a sudden. So, the group fled. Okay,
was it sunny?
Yeah, so it was just like a normal day.
Huh.
Just like a normal sunny day. They were on a drive, and as they were passing by the forest, Karen was like, let's go check it out. So they did.
I ran into this one time, just completely out of the blue. I don't know how this reminded me of that, but I remember one time when I was in daycare in elementary school.
I don't even remember 4th grade.
Yeah. I don't remember a lot of it, but I remember this specifically. But we were in daycare, and it was a sunny day outside, relatively decent weather, but all of a sudden we were hearing thunder, but there's no clouds or nothing in the sky. We're like, what in the world? And it's just the heat.
And heat. What is that? Yeah, heat lightning.
Yeah, heat lightning. So that was happening, and I was like, what in the world? And me being I think I was 8 at the time. Why is there thunder when there's no rain? So that could have happened.
Maybe, but 20-mile-per-hour wind, actual lightning, thunder.
Maybe. I don't know. Nature's scary.
Well, they also claimed to feel that whatever was there did not want them to be. They all got a really bad feeling the whole time they were there, which could be the pressure in the air,
yeah.
that could cause thunder.
Maybe.
Or lightning. Not thunder, but lightning.
Could also be
weather.
That.
Weather with Timmy and Bailey. All the facts are wrong.
Everything is wrong. Don't listen to us. We don't know what we're talking about.
Wait, don't leave though. So as they ran, Karen felt a presence behind them giving chase. So she felt like somebody was running after them. She did turn around at one point, but she didn't see anybody. And she remembers feeling that there was definitely somebody there, an overwhelming feeling. How whenever you're sitting there in a room by yourself, I don't know, at your dining room eating.
After you talk about Zozo, sometimes I'll get this weird thing. I'm like, what in the world? And
you just feel like somebody's behind you.
Yeah.
It could even be happening right now. You could be sitting alone in your house in your car. You could be in the bathroom or something and somebody's standing right outside the door.
Yeah, that's a really big fear of mine to just be driving down the highway, look in the rearview mirror, and see somebody chilling in the back seat.
You, right now, driving. Check your back seat.
Oh my God.
Is somebody there?
Don't run off the road.
Wait, don't do that.
Don't. Just saying, if you look in the mirror and there's some random thing/person back there,
I'd rather crash my car than be stuck in a car with a stranger or Zozo. What's up, Zozo?
I feel like Zozo you can make friends with.
No.
No? All right,
he wants chaos.
I mean, yeah, but you may want chaos, but sometimes you just need a friend to cause chaos with.
After breaking through the trees and returning to the road, all of the wind and the thunder ceased. Back to a normal day.
Sure.
The birds began to chirp again, and the air felt calm. She never returned.
Of course, understandable.
She never went back to the forest. Karen
understandable.
was like, no.
Not about this.
But she got what she came for, and the witch was like, or I'm sorry, not the witch, but Moll Dyer was like, I'm going to give you what you want. Now never come to my place again. She just wants to be left alone. Like, she lives in the forest by herself, in her cottage.
She was just trying to vibe. People mistreated her.
Exactly.
Now she don't like nobody.
Just leave her alone. I wouldn't either.
True.
I'd be mad. Another testimony comes from the current owner of the Moll Dyer land, Kathy Leslie. The creek running through the land has been named Moll Dyer Run, which is horrible.
Wow.
I don't know who named this creek, but
that's kind of messed up.
And it is named for what you think.
Yeah.
It is believed that Moll made her escape alongside this creek.
It's so messed up.
Yeah, it's really messed up. One evening, a man knocked hysterically on Kathy's door, yelling that there had been an accident.
Oh no.
Kathy and her husband ran with the man back to the vehicle. The car had been flipped onto its roof, and a man was still inside, hanging by just the seatbelt, screaming that he was stuck. They attempted to help him out of the seatbelt, but with all the pressure of his body against the buckle, it was stuck. Like it couldn't be undone. It was at this point that they noticed fuel was leaking onto the road.
Oh no.
This obviously made them fear for a fire or an explosion.
Oh yeah.
So they did end up calling 911, and paramedics were able to get the man from the vehicle, and it never exploded. So
that wasn't like your first instinct.
What?
To call 911.
I don't know. Maybe he didn't have a car. He had to go find Kathy and her husband. This was, I think this was also in the 70s or like 80s.
Oh, well, I guess.
Sometime
I guess
then.
not
everybody's got a phone.
Yeah. I don't even think cell phones were a thing back then.
No.
Okay.
I think it was like 90s cell phones became a thing.
Well, not a thing, but.
Well, I mean, like.
We're
becoming
invented.
developed, yeah. So yeah, they all ended up walking away from this unscathed. Nobody was really hurt.
That's good.
Past like some bumps and scratches and bruises,
Better than I did.
This is actually just one of many, many, many accidents that happened right here on this spot. And there are actually 2 fatalities that have happened on the spot too, like vehicle accidents.
I can't really say nothing because around here there's just tons of that. So
I guess, but
it's like, happens in this one particular spot all the time. Same thing on our main road.
Sometimes, but the thing about this road is, so Kathy does believe that the accidents are unexplained, as the road is just a simple road. So there's not like any trees that are close to the road. They're like way off.
I mean, yeah, same
on the side.
Same on our main highway.
It doesn't ice over, and there shouldn't really be any reason for so many accidents to happen directly in front of Moll Dyer's.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but people suck at driving.
Sightings of Moll are also not uncommon. And it is said that she can be seen walking through the woods on the coldest nights of winter. She's seen with long white hair and wearing a white dress, accompanied by a white dog.
Okay.
So there's that. I don't know what the white dog is about. I couldn't find a lot of information about that.
I was about to say, there's literally no mention of a dog ever.
Could be like a familiar, like witches have cats and stuff.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
One hunter in the 70s reported seeing a very dense fog patch, cylindrical in shape, with light emanating about 8 inches down from the top. He says that it crossed the stream and went east, moving across the wind, like against the wind instead of with the wind. Turned south and disappeared. And it did this twice before, like, for real disappearing.
Oh,
So
okay.
he actually believes that this was the spirit of Molly Dyer. And I think the way he says it, he's like, I'm not saying it's Moll, but
It's Moll.
it's probably Moll. So actually today in pop culture, Moll Dyer is believed by some to be the inspiration for the Blair Witch movie in 2016 and 1999, the original.
You know, I have not seen either of those.
I think I saw the original. It was very cheesy.
I heard the new one wasn't very good.
I can't remember which one. I think I saw the original. I don't think I saw the 2016 one, but I saw the 1991 one, and I remember it being cheesy and like, it was very like, I mean, you know how it's filmed, right?
Yeah, like a live or like found footage thing.
Yeah,
It's
like a
kind of
found
what
footage
started
thing.
the found footage thing,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
But then Paranormal Activity came out. The
There
first one
was-
was good.
Yeah, no, I liked Paranormal
And
Activity.
then-
I want to know the lore behind it. Paranormal Activity, because there's like a whole like congruent story throughout the whole thing. Either way, great movies. Yeah, that was the end of Moll Dyer.
Back on track now.
The legend, yeah, the legend of Moll Dyer. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. But yeah, if you guys are in or around Leonardtown, I'd love to know your stories or like what you guys know. Like if there's anything I missed in this story, because I
or if you've encountered anything
Yeah,
yourself, that'd be really
that'd be cool. Send it in. We'll do it on a listener story.
Yeah.
Well, if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a like and a follow and some good ratings on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts.
Pretty much anywhere you can find
Pretty much
podcasts, we're on.
everywhere.
We're also on YouTube, so be sure to like and subscribe on there
Yeah.
if you're listening on there. You can also follow us on all of our social medias for any extras, such as announcements, such as when we released our first little merch t-shirts.
Yeah, our t-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be posting pictures for this episode on our Instagram.
Yeah.
And all of our social medias, I'm pretty sure, except for...
Yeah, you can find us on everything other than Twitter at What Sleep Podcast. Twitter being Twitter, it's What Sleep Pod. So be sure to follow us on there for any extras, such as pictures and whatnot that we post.
And if you guys do think of any listener stories, I really, really, really would love to read them. You can send those in at whatsleeppodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, and I'm actually really excited to tell you all about the Zozo one we got in.
Yeah.
All right, and with that, we will catch you guys in the next episode. Bye!